Hello, Sandy here again. I'm now joined today by Rachel Mansfield. Rachel works for an organisation, a company called Tracerco. And without further ado, I'll just get her introduced and she can tell you a little bit about her job title. Hi, Rachel. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi there, Sandy.
Would it be Hello, would it be okay for you to go through your job title and kind of the roles that you do and the kind of a little bit of background about your organisation?
Yep, not a problem. So, as you've said, it's Rachel Mansfield. My title is Global Service and Innovation Director. And what that actually means is I look after the central services that support the global Tracerco business. And I also look after the innovation department that develops and innovates technologies to solve problems within the industry in which we work. So I look after EHS, so environmental health and safety of our organisation and the people that work within it. I look after quality and compliance. I also look after research and development, the innovation element of the organisation. And I also look after a department called specialist measurement. And specialist measurement is all around the design, the subcontract manufacture, and the supply of equipment that measures very difficult things to measure in the oil and gas industry.
Fantastic. So the oil and gas industry, really quite a vast industry. A lot of our young people are interested in going into that because obviously they have a lot of relatives and direct relatives who work within that industry. Can you go back a little bit in time? Can you tell me what you chose to do after school, Rachel? A little bit about your educational journey.
Yeah, of course. I did GCSEs and then I was kind of getting to that point where I wanted to choose A levels because I knew that for me, a kind of a university route was the path that I wanted to take. So I decided to do the subjects that actually interested me and that I actually enjoyed. And those were maths and science. So my A levels were chemistry, physics, and maths. They weren't my best subjects, I won't lie to you, but they were the ones that I actually really enjoyed. And I thought it was really important, and I still think it's important to pursue something that really interests you. So I did those as A levels, and then while I was doing my A levels, I was invited to Newcastle University on a Women's Insight into Engineering week. So I went to State University, the Newcastle University, and I got to have a bit of a flavour and a taste of the different types of engineering because there are a lot. And I actually went out to different organisations in the northeast of England and kind of got a bit of, like I say, a flavour, a taste of what the different disciplines actually meant. So I looked at electrical, mechanical, civil, and chemical engineering. It
That's
really
absolutely
interested me, and
fantastic.
that's why I ended up choosing chemical and process engineering as my kind of my university degree.
Amazing. That actually is really interesting because it touches on a lot of things that we speak to a lot of young people when they say they're interested in engineering. And when you delve a little bit further, they don't really know the differences between the kinds of engineering. Would you be able to tell me a little bit about the different variations of engineering in your experience
So,
and kind of what strengths lie within each subject?
in terms of chemical and process engineering, that's my discipline. Um,
Hmm.
the the process side is around, or certainly the process side that I've been involved is very much around oil and gas processing. So it kind of is in the
Hmm.
title. So we'll stick on oil and gas because, as you've said, that's kind of probably the key interest, or certainly an interest of people within the college. And
Yeah.
so in terms of processing, it's around you've got oil, gas, and water that's buried either under the ground or under the seabed, and you can't use that. You need to extract it, you need to process it to do something with it and kind of take out impurities, change its form so it becomes something that's very usable to us in our homes. So kind of process engineering is ensuring that we can take something in a raw form and change it into a usable form. And to do that, you have to kind of you have to separate different phases. You have to take out toxins and nasties from the oil and gas. You need to be able to pump it, pump liquids. You need to be able to compress gases. Um, so in terms of kind of the process industry, it very much is related, in my experience, to the oil and gas industry. But that's not where it stops. I mean, you still get process engineers, be it in the food industry, the defence industry, pharmaceuticals. So you can apply all the different types of engineering across so many vast different industries.
Fantastic. So very transferable, the skills that you get within your particular job area, but also kind of STEM and engineering as a whole.
Exceptionally transferable. Engineering is, I mean, pretty much everything that's around us has been touched by engineering. Therefore, the
Mhm,
opportunities in the industries that you can work in and develop a career within are just significant. So it's like whether you're interested, I don't know, in cars, energy, pharmaceuticals, medicine, cosmetics, food, defense, the list just goes on. And there is
mhm.
a rewarding career for an engineer in any of those different industries and more.
Fantastic. Rachel, could you take us through it? It's probably not a thing, a typical day, but a usual day at work for you. What kind of roles and responsibilities kind of are within your remit?
I think for me, my role now is a leadership role. So it's very much around looking at the strategy of the whole department that I operate. And it's leading the people that work for me and those teams to deliver
Mhm,
on the overall strategy, the plan that enables us to be successful. Um, so in
mhm,
terms of kind of a typical day, there often isn't any one typical day. The
mhm,
Tracerco, we operate quite a reactive organisation, and we provide products and services to the oil and gas industry and customers' problems because we solve problems. That's really what engineers do. And we solve problems, and customers have different problems all of the time. So we react to those problems and we solve them with the client. And from an EHS perspective, um, if I go in on a Monday morning is the EHS meeting. We have that first thing on a Monday morning because it is our priority. Protecting our people and our clients is absolutely our top priority. So we always start with safety. Um, I'll then sit down with the different kind of team members, like my direct reports, and we'll look at what actually we want to achieve within that particular week. And then maybe not every week, but every couple of weeks, we'll then also have a look at, are we delivering on our bigger objectives, our overall
mhm,
yearly objectives as well. Um, but lots of problems can occur during a day. We don't actually call them problems; we call them opportunities. So
Yeah.
we can, I don't know, for example, like there could be some supply chain issues. So we provide products. Obviously during COVID, supply chain has been hit quite heavily. So we're trying to
Mhm,
resolve the problems to ensure we still deliver to the client. During COVID, we send engineers globally to global customer sites. Our engineers travel the world. And during
mhm,
COVID, that presented its own risks and its own challenges because it wasn't easy just to get on an aeroplane and suddenly fly to a different country. There was lots and
mhm,
lots of things that you had to do to enable you to actually get on that plane. And that was from the PCR tests, ensuring that you've filled in all documentation, you understand exactly the entry requirements for a different country. So kind of lots of challenges or opportunities to overcome.
mhm. Absolutely, like you say, this it's just been challenging for all industries, but
All
particularly
industries.
if you're looking at an international element, with COVID, I imagine it's been quite hard.
It has been a challenge.
Rachel, I can imagine opportunities.
Exactly.
Um, what would you say, not in terms of your role or even your organisation, but working within engineering? What's the best part of it? What do you most enjoy, and your colleagues? What's kind of the common thread of working within the engineering industry, that the people are drawn to?
I think it's it's so diverse and it is so exciting.
Mhm,
For me, what's made my so I started as an engineer and I've progressed my career through up to leadership. So
mhm,
when I first started engineering, the thing that really excited me, and I was really fortunate to have the opportunity, but I joined an operating company. So I got to work onshore, I got to work offshore, I got to travel the world and meet different customers, different cultures, solve different problems. Because, like I said earlier, that's what engineering is. It's solving
mhm,
problems. It's being creative to come up with a solution to something that is causing an issue either to a client or to a market or an industry. And
mhm.
so for me, what's exciting is it's it's that challenge. It's that solving problems.
Hmm.
And as we know, as certainly as we're going kind of through an energy transition at the moment, we have to reduce our dependence on oil and gas, which presents huge opportunity in terms of what actually will be the energy sources that we rely on in the future. And those all need to be developed. They've all got their own problems. They're going to have different processes. So it's all exciting in terms of you are part of an innovative process to develop new technologies and discoveries.
For the future.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Something that I feel like I would already know the answer to already, but working in engineering, does it just take one kind of person, or do you come across various kinds of skills and qualities and people and backgrounds in every element of kind of work within the industry?
I think for any organization, it's really important to have diversity,
Yeah.
because it's about diversity of thought. So whether it's
Hmm.
bringing people together from diverse backgrounds, and that could be from an educational perspective, it could be from a experience perspective, it could be from a global perspective, it could be from a gender perspective. So I think
Hmm.
it's about diversity of thought experience. So lots of minds can get together, give different viewpoints to come up with the best solution. So
Fantastic.
it's available. Engineering is open to anyone and everyone, and the more diversity we have, I think the better you solve problems.
Brilliant. Absolutely love that answer. You touched on something there, but obviously we all know there is a higher amount of males who work in engineering and STEM as a whole. But obviously that number of girls and women who are interested in it and women who are actually going into this sector is growing.
Yeah.
If there's any girls listening now, what would you say to any of those girls or women who are considering this kind of career and they think it isn't for them because it's more of a male dominated industry? What would your advice be to those women and those girls?
I just think if you like being creative, if you like solving challenging problems, if you like making new discoveries, traveling the world, gaining experience, exploring new cultures and lifestyles, all whilst earning a good salary, then I would say engineering is for you. It really is suited for anyone, irrespective of sex or gender. Um, it's an exciting opportunity, and it can open kind of doors to lots and lots of different opportunities.
Fantastic. Have you
So I would
ever
say do
come
it.
across you definitely do it, absolutely. Would you say you've come across any barriers or any issues in your journey within engineering and within that industry as a woman?
I can honestly say no. I really haven't. And whether that's just because I've been exceptionally fortunate, I don't know. But I
Mhm.
haven't. I started out my career on sites, so I was working on a gas processing terminal, all male in terms of my work colleagues and peers, and they were nothing but helpful. I think regardless
Mm.
of what your sex is, as long as you're open to listening to others, to gaining advice, sharing, and just having the right approach, I think irrespective of sex or gender, I think you'll excel, I guess.
Fantastic. It is really good to know, and I think a lot of schools and colleges, and even employers, but do trying to get that message across to girls and women that it is open to all. But it's really fantastic to hear from kind of someone who's lived it, and who has
And
been part of their life since a very young age. So it
and
is
for
really
me,
good to hear.
I'm not only the kind of the global service innovation director for Tracerco, I'm a mum. I've got two children.
Mhm,
And I've
mhm,
been really, really fortunate in terms of my career. Lots of organisations are becoming a lot more flexible. I was extremely
mhm,
fortunate. Like I say, I've had the two children. I've worked part time. That was on offer to me to go back to work, do an engineering role, but part time. So
mhm.
I've always certainly personally felt very supported.
So any barriers in the sense of wishing to start a family later on in life, that this is an example where it hasn't got in the way.
No,
The fact that you're a woman and you wanted to start a family, that's
no,
absolutely
absolutely
brilliant to
not.
know. Mhm. And just to kind of bring it to a close almost, when you're looking at kind of the ages of people that you work with when they're coming through as part of engineering and kind of training, do you work with all sorts of ages? Do you work with apprentices and kind of people who are doing high level qualifications like university degrees?
Yeah, so in our organisation, we do summer placements, so people can come and kind of either do a couple of weeks summer placements, or even more. We have
Mhm.
apprentices within the organisation that they complete their apprenticeship, and then they stay on into the organisation to fulfil full-time roles. We've also got individuals in the organisation that actually we are sponsoring to do further education, so we can further develop them and they can then move within roles within the organisation. So yeah, so we have all different ages within Tracerco, and
Brilliant. So
opportunities
it's
are
all
open
about
to everyone.
brilliant. It's all about lifelong learning, just updating those skills, just continuous personal development.
Yeah,
Brilliant. That's excellent. Well, personally, I would really like to thank you for your time, Rachel. I think this has been really useful, particularly from the focus of International Women's Day, obviously, which is quite of prominence this week, also during National Careers Week. If anyone's got any additional questions or they would like any additional information on this kind of industry or engineering qualifications, all of the link is within this post, and all of my contact details will be on here as well. So just please get in touch, and we're happy to answer your questions. But thank you very much, Rachel.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.